So Nadine, hey.
Hey, Donna.
Hey, welcome to Teach People How to Treat You. Today we're going to talk about how not everybody thinks the way you do or the way I do.
They don't.
No. And oftentimes we think they're going to. Big mistake.
It's big mistake. Huge mistake. That line from Pretty Woman.
Yes, huge mistake.
Huge mistake, right? If anybody's seen that movie, I love that movie.
I love that movie and I love that scene. Huge mistake. Anyway, yeah, so back to what we were going to talk about, which is I think a lot of us go into situations or in general just thinking that people will react or follow through or behave the same way we would in a situation.
Right.
And yeah.
And they don't.
They don't. Sometimes they do, but it's rare. You know?
It's rare and unlikely.
Yes.
And that's sort of a lesson that we need to learn in life is that not everybody, and typically it's the majority. And that's what makes it sort of like neat when you have a group of people because everybody brings something different to the table.
Mm-hmm.
In the way that they think. Then there's the other side is like, when you're thinking, okay, well, I'm not sure why you're not agreeing with me or you're not processing this the same way I am, because we tend to think, okay, well, she's just going to have the same thought process, or he or they or whatever. Right. And most times people are not thinking the same way we are.
No. So that's something that you need to take with you when you're going into meetings, negotiations, anything, like at any time in your life, like dealing with friends and family. We need to remember that each one of us is unique and unique in our thoughts. And the other thing to keep in mind is that everyone's perspective is different. So you and I, once again, our realities are very different.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing this moment through different sets of eyes.
Different lenses, yeah.
Different lenses, yeah, that's a good one. And the other thing too is the way we react or see things or perceive them is also based on our experiences. And so our life experiences are different, right? Mm-hmm. How we've been raised, what we've been through, where we've traveled to, the way we've been in the workforce, like everything is so different. So, the other thing too is we can react differently to situations where like somebody may, I'm trying to think of how to explain this, but I sometimes think of this one incident where, a man could be opening a door for a woman, right? Let's say, you're going into a store, this man opens a door and, one person may see it as, oh, thank you. That was very, chivalry. That was very gentlemanly of you.
Yeah.
Or you could perceive it as, hey, I can open my own door.
Yep.
Like, did you think that I wasn't capable of opening the door?
Yeah.
You know, and so I think of that, right, as a very good example that you don't know. Like, we're all so different.
We are.
Yeah.
And the diversity is good. I think where we get into trouble is when our own egos trip us up.
Oh, that's a good one,
And we're like, well, what do you mean you don't agree? Or how come you're not seeing it the same way I'm seeing it?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that open-mindedness is really what you have to try to, and it's not easy.
No,
it's not easy.
No, it's not easy. And also expectations is another one, right? Like we cannot expect that someone will react the same way or like respond, like any of that stuff, or will follow through.
Disappointed, get frustrated.
Yeah. Like, because very, very often we're in situations where we just assume the other person is going to behave a certain way. And then we are disappointed because we had expected them to do like, well, why didn't they do it that way? That's the way I would have done it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that leads to frustration and, closed-mindedness. So if you're assuming that somebody's going to be thinking the same way as you, it's it's like stepping on a landmine, because they're not.
Yes.
9 times out of 10, they're not.
They're not.
And it's a good thing at most times, but it can also damage us if we have that expectation that they're going to, and then we get disappointed, and we shouldn't. We shouldn't.
Yeah. Yes. No, we shouldn't. But it's hard not to.
It is.
But it's something that we can train ourselves to do. And I'm getting better at it. I really am, because time and again, things happen and I observe. And once again, I see that things didn't unfold the way I expected them to. And so I'm getting better at it, though, I have to say. I have less expectations than I used to have. And I'm not saying that I always take the high road either, because I don't. I try to, but I don't. And we just expect people are going to live up to our expectations or our standards.
Standards, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our standards, or the way that we would handle a situation.
Exactly.
And I've been shocked too by close friends, where I would think that, well, this is how I'm going to do it, and then I do a double take and go, oh my goodness, I would have never expected that from the other person, because that's not how I was thinking.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm not thinking that way. There's no way I'm going to believe that they're thinking that way. And there's been a lot of times where it's been like a sticker shock, because like I'm flabbergasted with the comments or the opinion.
Yes. So here's my question, though. How do you deal with that? Like, do you call them out on it, or do you let it go? Do you write that person off? Like, there's so many different options.
There's so many different extenuating circumstances. Like it really depends on the subject matter. At the end of the day, I think that we have to try to see where the other person is coming from, and what would we do when we're in their shoes. The difficult part of that is that if you've never been in their shoes, it's hard to grasp their concept. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I never asked for advice from friends of mine that hadn't experienced what I was going through at the time.
Exactly.
Because what advice are they going to give me? It's subjective on. It's not even subjective. It's objective on the fact of what they might perceive they would do, but they've never lived it. So, like for relationship advice, when I was going through my breakups, like multiple.
Yes, me too.
I never went to my happily married friends.
Exactly.
Why would I do that?
No.
I would just walk out frustrated and crying.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I get that.
Right? So it's a matter of okay, I think you have to try to look at where the other person is coming from. But even that is hard to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, because you haven't lived it. And so you don't know what they could possibly be thinking.
Yeah.
That's like advice and life skill stuff. Like personalities, well, everybody's different.
Exactly. So that's it. And I think we need to, as you said, each situation is unique.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to come from the school of, I need to let you know how I'm feeling. I try to take the most delicate approach. If this is a friend or a family member that I want to still keep close to and not have a falling out with, then I'm very careful. But I know who I am. Once again, that's the way I think. Some people might just be passive aggressive and never tell you how they feel.
Yeah.
But I know that I need to express what I'm feeling and try to do it in a loving way and make it clear that this is, what I expected or what I thought was going to happen, and it didn't go that way, and I'm feeling, uncomfortable or what have you. But I will use that kind of language because, I don't like to be super direct with people where it could be very offensive, especially if I don't want to end that relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I want to end it, then there's no holds barred.
Yeah.
But for the most part.
Then you let loose, right?
Yeah. do not assume that people are thinking like you
No,
are, because
you're going to have a shockwave go through you.
yes,
Not always,
no,
but
no.
the ones that do come through, they're doozies, man.
Yeah, yeah. Don't be a mind reader. Don't think you're a mind reader.
No.
And just be respectful of other people and be prepared for anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't be
Yeah.
shocked. Don't be
Yeah.
blindsided.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's it. And hopefully, you know, you can all be more aware.
Take a beat.
And,
You know, if somebody comes at you with a reaction that you didn't expect, try not to be reactive. Take a beat and just think about it and try to look at it from where they're coming from, their perception of it. You know, maybe you misunderstood the situation. Maybe they did.
Mm-hmm.
And try to, you know.
Yeah. And just remember, no, that not everyone is going to react the same way that you would or perceive it the same way you would. And on that note, send us an email. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what else you'd like us to talk about. If you have any questions, comments, we would love to hear from you.
Anytime.
Anytime. Thank you so much for listening.
You.
Bye.
Bye for now.